let's just say, right, you started the year at a 5, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being, man, this was the worst, suckiest year ever. 10 is like I did everything I wanted to do. Everybody starts with a 5. Where would you rate yourself right now compared to January 1st, 2024, when you had all these high expectations, all these New Year's resolutions, all these goals you wanted to achieve, fitness, life, health, money, whatever? Where do you rate yourself? It's all about positioning. So my question to you is, how did you position yourself in 2024? What did you observe? What did you look at in the environment, the economy, your career path, your industry? What was your positioning? Did you position yourself in front of the growth curve? A lot of people in digital media position themselves in front of AI, making their life easier so they can be more efficient and productive. Let's say you come in with the mindset of, man, I have high standards, but then you associate with people that have low standards. It gets exhausting holding your high standards relative to their low standards. And so what happens? You tend to dip down rather than trying to pull people up. You can't pull people up that don't want to come up. That's a fact. People can't come up until they decide for themselves that they want to come up. So maintaining a high standard is very hard when you're around people with low standards. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Young Nguyen, known as Ninja or Prolific Ninja by my family and friends. And because you all are my fans and friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Back in the studio here to connect the dots for all of you, for your growth, for the end of 2024 into 2025. I'm so stoked. It's an amazing time this part of the year because why? I feel like I'm getting ahead so far amongst my competition, my peers, and so on. So I'm going to get into that in today's episode. But if you're not watching me on video, but you're hearing me in audio, I'm wearing my McLaren sweatshirt, hoodie, because congratulations to Team McLaren for winning the F1 series, Formula One racing series. So congratulations. And if you know me or if you've been listening for a while, you know I drive a McLaren. So, go Team McLaren. Let's go. But part of that is also part of the podcast topic today. So I'll get into that. But before I get into that, I want to start my episode as I start my day. When I wake up in the morning, I give thanks to God and universe for another day, another opportunity to hopefully be great and hopefully have inspired somebody to live to their fullest controllable potential, because that's what we're all about, is our mission, which is inspiring billions across the planet. And with that, I want to thank you all, because without you for sharing, listening, watching, following, subscribing, listening to the show, especially sharing, we can't do that. We can't accomplish our mission, which is inspiring billions of lives across this planet to live to their fullest controllable potential. So thank you all. And that gets me to my point, which is I do this on my own budget, on my own dime, on my own time. I pay for all this myself. There's a team, a production team that puts this together for me. We do all this to get this content to you. No sponsors, out of my own pocket, out of my own time. So the only way we grow the show is if you share the show. And we do that on a karmic balance, which is you don't want to owe me any karma of yours, because if you get value out of the show, that means there's an off balance, right? So to rebalance those scales, please share the show. That's how we grow. So I like to say, if you're knowledgeable, share the show. That is how we grow. You can also rebalance the karma by supporting the companies that I work with. So my own law firm. If you're new to the show, I'm a physician, lawyer, entrepreneur. I have a law firm in Houston, Texas. We've been here for over 2 decades, helping thousands of people. We are now launching aggressively a campaign to help as many cancer-affected individuals as possible. So we are litigating on behalf of these cancer patients against companies that put chemicals in the water. Go look up pfasinjuryattorney.com or at pfaslawyer on X, where you can learn more information. But if you know anybody with cancer, please send them our way so that we can help them. Okay, it's all about giving help and providing value and service to others. That's how you actually become successful, and that's what we're doing. So please support the law firm and cureconnector.com and legacyxtoken.com. So check them out. But to this point of this episode, we are 2 weeks left in 2024, a little bit over. I usually take this time, as you should, evaluate how your year has gone. because, we all start this new year with high expectations, high hopes. We set high goals and so on. We come out with all the right intentions, but the rubber has to meet the road at some point. Okay, it has to meet the road at some point, and you have to hold yourself accountable in the real world, not in this fantasy land of, oh, I'd like to do this, I want to do that, I'd like to make this much money, no. In the real world, we have to hold ourselves accountable. So my question to you is, where do you rank your performance in 2024? The start of the theme for the year for me was I want more in 2024, find your drive in 2025. So I wanted more in 2024. And so I put the list of goals that I wanted. And so if, let's just say, right, you started the year at a 5, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being, man, this was the worst, suckiest year ever. 10 is like I did everything I wanted to do. Everybody starts with a 5. Where would you rate yourself right now compared to January 1st, 2024, when you had all these high expectations, all these New Year's resolutions, all these goals you wanted to achieve, fitness, life, health, money, whatever? Where do you rate yourself? And be honest, because accountability doesn't work without honesty, especially to yourself. And listen, if you can't be truthful and honest to yourself, who else can you be honest to? Right? So be honest. Where are you? Starting the year at 5, are you at a 0? Man, nothing went well. It was a catastrophe. It was a disaster. I got divorced, lost my job, got into a car wreck, whatever. Where are you? Or is it a 10? Man, I started the year, I don't know, making 100,000. Now I'm at $500,000. I started my own business. All these things. Where are you? If I were to be honest with myself, I'd give myself 9.5. 9.5. This year was a year of wanting more of growth, and I personally have certainly done that. Added to my collection of assets, helped more people out. We've signed up close to now 200 cancer clients that we're working with. It's about growth, wanting more, doing more, building more, being more value, being of more service. And so in that regard, for me, I give myself a 9.5, right? And I don't give myself a 10 because there's still a couple goals. Like I wanted to write my book this year, didn't get it done. So, I got to ding myself for that. But in the offset, I had to focus my attention to a lot of different things, other different things that, took my time away because there's only 100% of me. So, I ding myself a little bit, not too hard. But I feel I got a 9.5 out of this year, which is great. And the year's not over. We still got 2 more weeks. And so wherever you are, if you're not a 10, okay, anything less than a 10, use these 2 weeks to put yourself in position to make 2025 a 10. Okay? It's not about setting New Year's resolutions. It's about creating goals that you can sustain a process to reach for the next year. Because what happens? Man, this is the year I'm going to get in shape. Go get a gym membership. By the second week of January, you don't even go to the gym anymore. How many people like that? I know a lot. Because they are focused on the goal and not on the process. And so the idea here is to key in on the processes towards your goals, the plan, the process towards your goals in order to make 2025 a 10. So with that, there's one key point. Actually, there's 2 key points I want to make amongst many others, which the next couple episodes we'll talk about because of its year end. Number 1, I did an episode about positioning, right? Positioning yourself for success. In other words, don't just grind away 9 to 5, 20 hours a day, grinding without any type of outlook on how you have positioned your life. I'll give you a very recent example. Did you position yourself in front of this crypto run this last couple weeks? I know plenty of people that did, and they made a bag. If you had really been connecting the dots, you knew it was coming. You had to have known it was coming. Did you connect the dots right? Did you get in front of it? I know dudes 6-7 figures in the last 2 weeks. Because they position themselves. And what I mean by positioning is looking at the broader landscape. What is going to trend or what is going to occur, and get yourself in front of that. So you're not working in it, you're just putting yourself in front of it so that when it comes, you catch it, you're on it. And so bam, there you go. It's all about positioning. So my question to you is, how did you position yourself in 2024? What did you observe? What did you look at in the environment, the economy, your career path, your industry? What was your positioning? Did you position yourself in front of the growth curve? Right? A lot of people in digital media position themselves in front of AI, making their life easier so they can be more efficient and productive. Me in the legal business, positioning myself in front of this $1 trillion litigation called PFAS. How did you position yourself in 2024? And if you didn't position yourself properly, is that why you now are less than 5 on that scale of 0 to 10? Is that why you didn't have the 2024 that you wanted to have? Because you were too busy nose to the grinding away without opening your radar or your perspective to the bigger picture to position yourself in front of what was coming. Because the dots are always there. It's just how you connect them. And if you connect them in the right way, then you know where to position yourself. Right? I saw who Trump was bringing on his team. Once he got elected, oh man, pro crypto, let's go, get in front. It was really simple. Really, really simple. So the key here is, well, I don't have the time to connect the dots. I don't know whatever. I don't know enough people. I don't know the right ideas. And so that's my second point. Your standards. Okay? There's positioning and your standards. What were your standards for 2024? Your individual personal standards, right? What level did you hold yourself at? Oh, my life is good. I'm just going to stay right here. Or man, there's more things I can do. I want to get up here. Or man, I'm tired. I don't want to do the work. I'm going to go down here. What were your standards that you set for yourself in 2024? And therefore, the question is, what are the standards you want to set for yourself in 2025? Right? Figure that out now so that you can spend the next 2 or 3 weeks. I know the tendency is to slow down, coast, whatever. We're not doing that. We're running into 2025 every single year. You know why? Because as you start running now and people are still asleep or slowing down, when 2025 hits, you are way ahead. That gap between you and your competition is massive because they're going to have to take time to build momentum. Building momentum is the hardest thing. It takes the most amount of energy just to get a boulder starting to move. But once that boulder starts to move, it's easier to keep rolling. So right now, we want to spend December just putting that energy into get that 2025 boulder moving. That's where we are right now, not January 1st, right? So what are your standards that you're setting for next year? Find them now, identify them now, define them now, and start working on those standards, the habits to maintain those standards. And I give you an example. Man, I held a high standard for myself. I felt I was loosening up towards this end of the year. I was like, no, I can't go there. So what did I do? I said, hey, man, the fastest way to kickstart a tightness or disciplined mind, started fasting on Sunday. Said, bam. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to, my standards up here. I'm below it. Let me fast. Let me get tight, mentally sharp, body sharp. Boom. I'm back to where I need to be. Full of energy, man. I'm like stoked. Right? So that's where it is. And part of that then, of setting your own standards, and a lot of y'all, I know it's hard. It's a hard concept to grasp. And a lot of y'all like, well, I don't know how to set my standards, or I don't know how, what. Look at the people around you too. What are their standards? That expression, you are the summation of the 5 people you spend, that you surround yourself with. My version is actually you are the summation of the 5 or 6 people that you spend the most time with. Might not be your inner circle, but it's who you spend the most time with. Usually it's your coworkers. You end up being like that. So what are the standards of the people around you that you spend the most time with? Do they hold themselves to a high standard? Because if they don't, let's say you come in with the mindset of, man, I have high standards, but then you associate with people that have low standards, right? It gets exhausting holding your high standards relative to their low standards. And so what happens? You tend to dip down rather than trying to pull people up. You can't pull people up that don't want to come up. That's a fact. People can't come up until they decide for themselves that they want to come up. So maintaining a high standard is very hard when you're around people with low standards. Very, very hard. Very exhausting. Because you want to grow and they're just cool where they're at. So you're just, there's that contrast in energy. It's like rowing the boat in opposite directions. You can't do it. So evaluate the people you spend the most time with. What are their standards? Are they the type to pay attention to detail? Are they the type to put in the extra work? Are they the type to be helpful to others? Right? Are they the type to identify problems and solutions, or do they just come around and complain? You want to get away from that low standard surrounding. That is one of the fastest ways to start getting momentum for growth. So be honest with yourself. Because if you are below, let's say if you are below 7 in that scale of how you did in 2024, and you're hanging around the same crew in 2025, what do you think is going to happen? Right? If you're in the right crew, right, then most of you and your colleagues in that group that you spend the most time with, all of y'all are at 8, 9, 10s. And so when you go into 2025, 8, 9, 10s, you're going to keep growing. You're going to keep growing until people separate out. That's what happens. And it's unavoidable. That's what happens. People separate themselves out because of the standards that they maintain. So what? If you want to get into a group with high standards, you got to raise your standard to them. Nobody's standards change unless they decide to make it change. I have to emphasize that. So you can't spend your time pulling other people up with you. Cannot do it. Cut the rope and you got to go up. You go up to the next level. And that might mean you're not burning bridges or you're not killing relationships or anything, but you're separating yourself out. Right? Now, most of my friends, they know that sometimes, I'm separating myself out. It doesn't mean we're not friends. Like I cannot talk to somebody, a few of my friends for years. And then I call them up. Hey man, what's going on? Boom, we're friends again. Those are true friends. But the ones that you separate from, and then you call them up and like, hey, what's going on? Like, man, why are you calling me? I hate you, blah, blah, blah. You left me behind. They weren't your friends that you needed anyways. Right? That's how this works. So set your standards for yourself and then identify the standards that are amongst your peers. Are they the right ones? Are they aligned with your values and your standards, or are they not? Hell, they might be higher, which is great. Now you can elevate up too. That's what you want. That's what you want because it's easier when somebody's standards are higher than yours. It's easier to raise yourself up. Why is that? All you got to do is mimic them. You got to copy them. Copy them. It's like going back to sports. Kobe Bryant would constantly watch film of Michael Jordan growing up. Why? Because he was the standard. Jordan was the standard. So Kobe wanted to be like Jordan. So he would just watch his films over and over and over again, copy his moves, It's easier because it's already been done. And now if you actually Google it, you'll find a video of Kobe and Michael Jordan mirroring each other. Like the moves are exactly the same. It's really that easy if you want to raise your standard. Find somebody else with higher standards. Copy what they do. It's that simple. But you got to want to do it. You got to want to do it. Listen, nothing would make me happier than at the same time next year. I'm going to probably do the same podcast episode almost. What is your number? From 5? Is it a 0 or is it a 10? Nothing would make me happier than for all of y'all to say, man, it was like an 8, 9, 10. That means you grew. You got closer to success, how you defined it. You got closer to your goals for 2025. Right? But I'm giving you all the tools, all the mindset, all the things necessary for you to plan a 2025 where it's not less than 5. Right? Because all you got to do is apply what I'm telling you. Get your positioning right. Get your values and standards right. and surround yourself with the right people with higher or the same values and standards as yours, you cannot lose. You cannot lose. And that's part of finding your drive in 2025. Position yourself ahead. Now, you might say, well, I don't know how to position myself. DM me. Put it in the comments. How do I position myself? We'll reach out and we'll talk about it. I'm here to help. I've been very, very blessed in my life, so it's time for me to give back. And so I'm here to help. So if you don't know how to position, or you don't know how to set your standards, or any other topic I've talked about, DM, leave them in the comments, whatever, and we'll reach out and figure it out. But use this time, 2 weeks to go. Do not step off the gas. Do not pump the brakes for 2024. In fact, I want you to shift into a higher gear. Actually, in driving, you downshift to get more power, then you shift in higher gear. But anyway, shift into higher gear towards the end of the year. I like that. Shift to a higher gear towards the end of the year. And that way we can find our drive in 2025. Okay, positioning, values, and standards. That's 2 key elements in getting the year off to the right start. So with that, I appreciate you listening. I'm going to end the show as I end my day, which is giving gratitude. I always, before I close my eyes, put my head on the pillow, I always thank God and the universe for another day to have hopefully inspired somebody to live to the fullest controllable potential. It only takes one for me, and that keeps me going to the next day and the next day and the next day. That means I'm adding value to the universe so that I can get value back in my own personal life. And so that's just the way it works. So with that, I want to thank you all for listening. Again, do not leave a karmic balance so that you owe me a debt. Please share the show. If your knowledge swole today, share the show. I'm sure it did. Share the show. That's how we grow. Or send cancer clients to me, because we are on this major mission to help thousands upon thousands of cancer affected individuals pursue some type of opportunity or settlement based on chemicals in the water that cause their cancer. So with that, thank you for listening. Get into a higher gear for the rest of the year. Find your drive in 2025. Looking forward to bringing another episode very, very soon.